Welcome to our channel. We are Kaitlyn and Patrick, two adventure seekers that recently sold all of our belongings to fulfill our lifelong dream of living sustainably. We purchased 15 acres of raw land in the mountains of East Tennessee. Since moving to our property, we have installed our solar system for all of our power needs and our rainwater catchment system for all of our water needs. Join us as we continue to build out our off-grid homestead in the mountains and navigate this adventure we call life. Hi guys.
Welcome back.
So we've been hard at work the last week or so, couple weeks really.
Yeah.
Working on some projects around the property. We have finally installed an AC after 2 years, no air conditioning, and we've been putting it to work. We also buried our water tanks. We've had some issues with our water tanks freezing at the outlet parts the last 2 winters, so we decided it was time to go ahead and take care of that. So we'll give you guys a quick tour of everything we've done and show you some videos while we were actually working on it.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we also had some really cool stuff that we saw up here on the property. One of the things is that every spring-ish, there's an Army installation somewhere near here that likes to run helicopter missions through our mountains. So we actually managed to get some pretty cool video of some Blackhawks running up the valley just down from our property. So you'll be able to see that.
Yeah, we've seen them a lot. We just haven't been able to catch them on camera yet. It's crazy loud, and they have flown like directly overhead. Overhead. Like when we were outside, and they're what, maybe 200 feet up?
Probably, if that.
It's low, and it's so loud, but it's really cool. The first couple of times, it was kind of like
terrifying.
Yeah, it was like the apocalypse happened. Did we miss something? Like, you know.
Well, they'll fly it at night too, so that's another weird thing.
It's very loud. It kind of shakes everything, but it's really, really cool. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this, what's it been, 2-3 weeks now?
Yeah, a few weeks.
2 weeks, I think. We were able to see the northern lights from our property, which is insane. We definitely didn't think we would have a great show, but we did, and you guys will see it right now, what we got to see. It was insane. It's always been a dream of mine to see the northern lights, but I assumed I'd be going to Canada or Iceland or having to travel to see them. But literally to walk out on our front deck or gravel area and see the northern lights, that was like big, huge bucket list check right there.
We got really lucky because it was a clear night too. Other people didn't have a clear night, and we had a perfectly clear night.
Yeah, and we're so far out that there's like no city light washout or anything like that. So I mean, we can see on any clear night, we can see the Milky Way typically, and a ton of stars, of course, but also the lightning bugs are back.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know that we have any footage of that, but they come around this time of year, and it's a really cool thing to see because, again, there's no light out here, and everywhere in the woods is just like lighting up constantly. It's really neat. So.
Yeah. Also, we've had a ton of bears.
Oh yeah, that bear we showed you in our video with the garden last week, him and his buddy, or mom and son, daughter, whatever, they've been back pretty much every night for the last 2 weeks. We've had to kind of run them off and let them know, hey, this isn't food for you, because it's not good for them to eat our food. It's not good for us to have to deal with them. So it's just bad all the way around. So yeah, we've been trying to teach them, no, not today.
What else? Oh, we should probably talk about how well the Mr. Cool has performed in the last, week that we've been using it? Almost week?
It's been insane. Like, we've had a lot of sun. We haven't had to use it every day because it's not been that hot, but when it has been, we've used it. We haven't seen that much of a drop in our power, like at all. It usually runs, I mean, it can run up to 800 watts, but typically, what would you say, around 300 to 500 when it's running?
I mean, average, yeah, but it's hard because it's such a small space that it cools it really efficiently.
Really fast.
I mean, in 6 hours, it's maybe actively compressing, what, an hour?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the baseline draw is like 25 watts. It's been ridiculously efficient.
Yeah, we're really, really pleased with it. It was super, well, mostly easy to install.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not really affecting our power. That's one of the main reasons we haven't had AC yet, was just trying to find an energy efficient option. And we also added those 4 panels on top of the building last year in order to basically prepare for this. But yeah, we are very happy with it. We were a little concerned that maybe we wouldn't have the power to run it as much as we wanted to, but it seems like that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, and it's been on some hot days. We've had a couple of days where the temperature was in the mid to upper 80s, which is pretty common up here, bright and sunny. Those were the days that would have been, 90, 95 inside the office there, but that AC unit took it like a champ, kept it at a comfy 76-ish, and
even lower than that. We had it set to 78 because we've kind of come accustomed to like anything under 80 is comfortable. Anything like when we lived in a house, in several houses, we would keep it like 72-ish. But if we had that thing 72, we would freeze because we're just so used to like anytime we go on vacation and stay somewhere that it's like 70, 72, we're always like bundled up freezing. So that's a perfect temp for us. And it's great too because we're not having to use excess power to try to get it even cooler. But yeah, it's been a game changer for sure. It's going to make the summer much more comfortable.
Drastically. All right, so you can see the updates we've done to the water tanks. Starting from the top, everything looks similar, but we've actually had to update the piping. Now we've got a better slope coming down from the leaf eater, feeding directly into our primary tank. These tanks are now buried somewhere around 18 inches below the surface. I know the outlets are at minimum 12 inches or lower below the dirt, so that should really help with insulatory properties. We've also got our overflow pipe installed to go to our back tank. We've got it covered in pipe insulation, not for temperature regulation, but more so UV protection. If you know anything about PEX lines, they degrade pretty bad in UV sunlight, so we just put that on there to keep it, solid for the long haul. But yeah, we've got them covered now with, these are actually made for IBC totes. One thing we figured out pretty quick when we took these out and cleaned them out is that even just a little bit of sunlight can cause a lot of algae buildup. And you'll see some of the pictures that Kaitlyn took when she was cleaning them. They were gross. So now they should get no UV exposure, which means no algae growth and clean water. Yeah, we did have a tarp covering both of these, but the front edge of that front tank was exposed to the open air like sunlight. And then this one had a little bitty square cut out for us to check the levels, and anywhere the light touched was where algae was growing. Like, it was kind of funny. You can actually see a little square on the tank. But this one was mostly clean because it was mostly covered. This one was grody. Okay, so when we buried these, we had to put in all new water lines, and we kind of wanted to do that anyway because the water lines coming out before were small and the cutoffs were below dirt. So it was kind of hard to shut them off. So what we did when we buried these is 3/4 inch PEX lines underground into our little water closet here with shutoffs right at the pump. So we can still isolate each tank, but the access to the shutoffs are really close. We also do still have shutoffs for the tanks themselves, and we actually put in little access sort of chambers, if you will, underground. So we can take the top off, get to those shut off if needed, if we're worried about something in here or if we need to isolate a tank for any reason. It'll also help us check for any leaks if we have anything or if we're worried about a leak. We're eventually going to insulate these little chambers as well, just because it's not backfilled dirt around it. So that's going to be a long-term plan. And because we had to dig all this up, it was gross, it was muddy, it was clayey. So we went ahead and sowed some clover right here, which in 2 days, it's already taken off. So, you know, really, really pleased. It's going to be a nice little greenscape and it'll be nice and clean.
So while we were at, you know, burying the tanks and getting them all cleaned up and everything, we went ahead and changed out our filters here. So we have a sediment filter and 2 charcoal filters, and they are massive. I think they're like almost 30 feet long, right?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Maybe a little bit over 2. But anyway, so we went ahead and changed those out. They have a 100,000 gallon capacity to filter, and we're not anywhere near that. You can see here, we're right at 3,700, which is actually a little bit more than that because that's our second meter. But they were disgusting, mainly because of that front tank being so gross. So I think it was a good choice to just go ahead and change those out. They also, you know, they can filter 100,000 gallons, but they also have like a lifetime expectancy, I think probably a year or so. And so you have our 2 water tanks coming in here. You've got your shutoffs. This one is shut off currently because we don't have really much of any water in that one. So once it overflows, we can open both up. Comes up here into our pump, and then we'll link basically our water closet set up and how it filters and how we get water to the camper at the top of this screen. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've been doing as far as the water is concerned. All right, so we also, it was really good timing that we didn't really redo much of this. I mean, we did have to add a new pipe here just to get the length and the angle and everything and make sure it was sloped so water would actually run down and not sit in this pipe. But it was good timing because when actually cleaned out the gutters themselves. So we have gutter guards up there, but it doesn't catch everything, unfortunately. So there were a lot of maple leaf seeds that were stuck in there, and they were kind of preventing water from truly flowing into the gutter. And this was not too bad. It's got a little bit of stuff in it now, but basically I took the gutter guards off. I cleaned out, I pressure washed the aluminum gutters up here, made sure everything was kind of flowing, got all the debris out. We also have a filter that goes right inside of the tank too, and I'm pretty sure that was clogged up with pollen. It's something we should have been on top of, but we really weren't. So I'm not sure that we were actually catching that much water. We should have had 2 pretty full tanks, and we really only had 1 full tank. So that's on us for not like monitoring it better, but definitely, you know, with any off-grid lifestyle, you're the water company and you're the power company. So you're constantly having to do maintenance on all those things. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about living this lifestyle. It's definitely not a set it and forget it type of situation. You definitely have to stay on top of stuff. So it's a good thing we did it now because May and June are our wettest months. We get like 5 inches of rain in June and usually like 3 to 4 inches in May. So we should be really good and stocked up by the end of June at this point with everything working properly.
So, you know, we did end up cleaning these back tanks that are on our work shed as well. This one goes to our washer. The other one goes to our outdoor shower. They were also pretty gross, but not because of UV. You know, these are black plastic, so they keep sun out really well, but the tops are covered by a not fine screen. So we did end up having some mosquitoes making babies in the tanks, found some mosquito larvae. So we just went ahead, bit the bullet, dumped these, cleaned them out. And then what we did is take the same fine mesh cloth that we used to do the last filtration step on the main water source and put them over where this collects the water. So now it's not only keeping debris out, but also hopefully mosquitoes and anything else that might want to dirty up our water. One thing we also did to these, when we originally installed them, they make like these plastic spigots for them. They worked fine. Not gonna talk anything bad about them, but we were worried about them cracking during freezing because these freeze before the big tanks froze. So we were worried about the integrity of that. So we went ahead while we were at it and replaced the spigots on these to a brass one. They just screw into the tank. So we just put some Teflon tape on them, screwed them in, and they've been fine. But this should be a lot better, more resilient to freezing than the old plastic ones. And so far as we can tell, the gutter fixes that we mentioned in our last video have held up. These tanks are full. Actually, this tank is full. So this was empty as of like 3 or 4 days ago. We got about an inch of rain yesterday, and it is now full. So really excited about that because it means now we can do laundry.
And shower.
And shower.
I haven't showered in 3 weeks.
I didn't realize it was.
What's up, guys? Back here in our little workshop. Got an exciting project going on today. We're going to be installing a mini split. So we bought this, I guess, about a month ago. We've probably had it a few weeks now. Just haven't really had the time to install it with everything else we've had going on, but also it's just not been hot enough to really justify installing it. So we've been working on other projects outside, but what we went with is the Mr. Cool 12K unit. It's a little big for our office shed, but that's okay. We want it to be a little bit oversized. We used to have a 6,000 BTU unit in there, just like a little, not a window unit, one of those like freestanding ACs, portable, and it didn't really do anything. It didn't cool it down at all. So we wanted to go a little bit heavy on this one, basically double that. And it's rated, I think, for 600 square feet or 500 square feet, but we, it's only, 12 by 10 shed in there, so 120 square feet. It's definitely not that big, so it should be more than enough to keep it cool in there in the summer. It also has a heater function. I don't know that we'll use that very often. We have the propane heater in there, and it works fine. We don't get as much sun here in the winter, so justifying, using the energy output for that, just kind of hard to justify when our propane heater does a good job and we just have to, fill it up with propane. But yeah, it's kind of a gross day today, as you can see, raining a little bit, but the view from the office space, not terrible. You see the mountains over there, kind of. They're a little foggy today, but yeah, so gonna get this installed on the back of the shed here, right there. You can see our concrete pad we poured probably about a week ago or so. Should be all set and ready to go. But yeah, just gonna unbox everything now and look over the directions one more time. This is a DIY unit, so basically the lines come pre-charged, so we shouldn't have to like vacuum the lines or anything like that. We should just be able to hook it up and it'll work. That's the plan anyway. So we've never installed an HVAC before, so we wanted a unit that was going to be easy to install and we didn't have to worry about, trying to vacuum it and all that stuff, because I'm sure it's something we could learn and maybe we will one day, but just doesn't feel like something we really want to do at this moment, so we went with the DIY unit. This video is unfortunately not sponsored by Mr. Cool. I wish it was, but we did purchase this with our own money, so we'll give you like a little review at the end, how we like it, let you know how much power it takes, because that's really important when you're purchasing one of these and you live off grid, you run on solar. It's really important to know how much power to expect. Last year we did install 4 more 200 watt each panels up here on the office in anticipation for this. So 800 watts total. Those are 800 watts total. So basically, hypothetically, if the sun's shining on those, they'll be more than enough to run this thing on their own. And then of course we have our 1200 watt panels over here. You can't see at the moment. But yeah, on a good sunny day, we should have no problem with these, but we will keep you updated on that.
All right, so we got the Mr. Cool compressor unit here. We put it on a concrete pad. The pad was an adventure because it was really rainy when we put it in, so it took forever to dry. But now that it's dry, we've got them tap-conned, or the unit tap-conned into the concrete pad. It's pretty much level. I don't know how necessary it is to get it perfectly level, but we got it close enough. This is just a 120 volt unit. We put a breaker in, what was it, winter-ish?
November, I think.
Yeah, November, in anticipation of doing this for the spring. But it's a DIY unit, so everything comes pre-charged, which is really great. All the lines come pre-charged, so all you do is hook up the lines, hook up the power, and then you're ready to go. It's really simple to install. The lines are a little unruly because they're copper.
You have to be careful with them too.
Yeah, you don't want to crimp them. But it actually was, it took us, what, a day to get fully installed?
Not even.
Not
maybe
even
3 hours.
Yeah,
and that
I'm
was
only
with
saying,
me having to run to the hardware store for Tapcons.
right. Yeah, I only say a day because, you know, we also took a little break to put off putting in a channel that covers the line sets that run into the building. So we ran the compressant or the AC lines up the wall and over. This little channel, I think, comes separately. It's not too expensive, and it was actually pretty simple to install. But it's a little extra protection for those line sets that come from the compressor that run into the building to the internal unit. So really simple, pretty straightforward installation, and we were able to use it the next day for AC. So,
and now that we've used it for a few, or at least a week, I guess, very, very pleased with it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not sponsored by Mr. Cool.
But if they want to,
cool enough.
We're going to need a couple for the house. Just saying.
Yeah, Mr. Cool, reach out. All right, so we got everything wired up for the mini split. We're turning it on for the first time, seeing if everything's right and if it works. I'm gonna check the power usage as well, so here goes nothing. Push it on.
Whoa.
It's quiet. I mean, I don't know that it's all on yet. That stuff need to come off, so maybe. Well, it is like less than 75 in here, so let's set it cooler. We'll set to 68. So keep going.
Oh, I can feel it. The air's blowing.
Yeah, it feels cold, I think. Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna take a second for the compressor to cycle.
200 watts right now.
What?
Yeah. Give or take. I mean, it fluctuates a little bit. Yeah, it's ramping up a little bit.
Oh, you can hear the compressor.
Outside?
Yeah.
Oh, it feels nice. Rather than on this hot summer day, just standing here.
It sits at about 500 watts of power consumption
It's
right
really
now.
not bad, though.
Hear the compressor though? It's like going brrrr.
Outside?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it just jumped a little bit
Oh, yeah,
too.
you can feel how cold it is now, too.
Oh yeah.
It took it a second to, like, cool down. Heck yeah.
Cool.
Can't believe it worked.
I know, right?
First try. I mean, it was a DIY unit.
It's supposed to be, but you know.
Heck yeah. Yeah, now we're at, what, like 800 watts?
That's still not bad.
No, but that'll, like, I mean, we're never going to have 68 in here. We just have it in, like, now I'm going to see. But once it, like, cools down, it doesn't actually, like, shut off. And, like, I don't know. The compressor, I don't think has to jump back up as much to, like, circulate the cold air, from what I understand.
Yeah, it's an inverter style compressor.
This is supposed to come off. Oh, we do have one more thing we have to put in it. The remote thing. So that we can use it, like, if we're not here.
Oh.
Turn it on.
Yeah. The Wi-Fi thing.
Yeah. Very satisfying.
Oh.
Heck yeah. I can't believe it works.
I know. And it's cold air. I mean, that
It's
is
not loud at all.
no.
Let's go see how loud the
Compressor is.
yeah. Ooh, freezing. Feels great over here.
It
The
does.
dogs are gonna love it.
Oh my god, Max is gonna lose his mind.
Quiet too. Really quiet.
Wow.
We still have to tidy up all the lines.
Yeah, it's a little disorganized.
Just
This
want
was
to make sure it worked before we kind of did all the finish work.
yeah.
That is silent. Cool.
Very
Oh,
cool.
This is a game changer.
I'm excited.
Heck yeah. All right, let's turn it off. 'Cause we don't-
Yeah.
So to give you a quick update on our garden, it seems to be doing really well with all the rain and the sunshine we've had recently. It is going crazy.
Yeah, we did maybe have a little issue with transplant stress, but everything's,
a couple of tomatoes.
yeah, everything seems to be recovering really well. So they've doubled in size, which is exciting.
Yeah. And we really appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions about the water setup or the AC setup, please feel free to comment. We really appreciate you guys watching and all the support. If you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notifications every time we upload a video, which we're trying to go back to a weekly video. So
as best we can.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Y'all.